Welcome to The Explainer. So, what if an ancient spiritual text wasn't just about gods and rituals? What if it was actually a blueprint for the atom?
Today, we are diving into a really fascinating and honestly kind of mind-bending interpretation of some of the world's oldest scriptures.
So this is the extraordinary claim from our source material, that the ancient Vedic hymns of India actually contain a detailed allegorical blueprint of atomic science. Okay, now it is absolutely crucial to state up front, this is a highly unconventional interpretation. We're talking not accepted by mainstream science or, historical scholarship. But it's such a bold idea, so let's see just how the argument is built.
All right, so our source begins its analysis by really zooming in on a hymn about a cosmic element called Soma. Now, you might have heard of Soma as a plant or a drink, but for this interpretation, you need to think of it as a primordial substance on this epic journey right through space.
Yeah, the Vedas describe it in these really powerful terms. And in this scientific reading, this line isn't just beautiful poetry, it's seen as a literal description of Soma's energy and its forward momentum.
So the hymn paints this picture of an active, powerful force. It's not just kind of drifting along, it's actively pushing and swimming through the cosmos.
And then you get this part where the hymn describes Soma finally arriving at its destination, what it calls its dwelling.
Okay, so this is the crucial point here. The hymn isn't describing some chaotic, random collision. No, it's talking about a controlled, a non-destructive assimilation process. That's key.
Okay, now here's where the interpretation takes a really fascinating turn. The core argument is that these exact same verses also describe a journey on an impossibly small scale, the path of an electron.
We've seen this line before, right? It was describing Soma's big cosmic journey. But now, let's put on a different pair of glasses and look at it through the lens of atomic physics.
And all of a sudden, that heroic journey of Soma becomes this perfect allegory for an electron. Its electrical force field is what swims and pushes through obstacles as it heads towards an ion. See the parallel?
And there it is again, the arrival at the dwelling. Only this time, that dwelling, it's an atom.
And this, right here, this is what reveals the core thesis. You have one ancient verse that's being interpreted as two identical processes of peaceful integration, one on a cosmic scale and the other on an atomic scale. Pretty wild, right? So you gotta ask, what force guides these parallel journeys? I mean, what keeps Soma on course to a star, or an electron locked in its orbit?
Well, to answer that question, this interpretation points to another key Vedic concept, a force called Varuna.
Now, in this reading, Varuna and some god in the sky. It's described as the universal glue of existence, a fundamental force that literally holds reality together. And what's really elegant about this idea is that it's supposed to operate at both scales. So out in the macrocosm, Varuna acts like gravity, binding stars together. But down in the microcosm, it's managing electron orbits and holding the nucleus together, which sounds a whole lot like what modern physics calls the strong nuclear force.
But wait, it doesn't stop there. The hymn apparently goes even further, describing not just the forces, but the mechanisms. Like, how do these particles actually navigate their complex environments?
Now, obviously, these aren't literal boats. In this scientific reading, they're metaphors for the essential tools that make creation and integration possible all across the universe.
So these three concepts, these cosmic aids, they have names. There's Yagya, which is the integration process itself, Krishnajin, a protective field, and Vaak, the primordial energy that powers the whole shebang.
Okay, let's break that down real quick. First, you've got Yagya. That's the action, the actual process of, say, fusion or an electron being captured. Then there's Krishnajin. You can think of this one as a protective force field, sort of an invincible shield that lets the action happen safely. And finally, you have Vaak. That's the fuel, the underlying energy that sustains it all. So together, these three are said to be the engine of creation. So what's the big takeaway from all this? I mean, what does it actually mean if this interpretation holds any water?
Well, the final picture we're left with is this vision of a deeply interconnected reality. It's almost like a unified field theory hidden away in ancient scripture, where the exact same fundamental laws are written into the very fabric of everything, from the tiniest particle to the biggest star.
It's a staggering thought, isn't it?
and it really challenges us to look differently, not just at ancient texts, but at the entire world around us, and just wonder, what other secrets are just waiting for the right key to come along and unlock them?